So hopefully that gives you a general sense of what the tool looks like from the user's perspective. Again, you can go to youtube.com/WTA Oregon to find a video of how a user can register with Drive Less Connect and how they can use it. So next I'm going to cover how to administer the tool. The first step to becoming an administrator is to go to drivelessconnect.com and to register yourself as a user. Once you have that registration name and your passcode, you need to go to a different website, and the URL is up here on the screen. You can also go to wta-tma.org/drivelessconnect to find this URL. Once at that website, it's going to ask you for your email address and your password, and then you'll be brought into the system. This looks very similar to the normal Drive Less Connect system, but a big difference is up here at the top, it's going to say that I'm currently managing, and it's going to have my network name or your company name. So I'm managing the Westside Transportation Alliance. This is important to note so that you know if you're in the regular system or if you're in the admin system. And here we're in the admin system. So in order to walk you through how to administer the tool, I'm going to talk about the settings at the top of the page here. So we've got this little menu bar. We'll start with settings and we'll work our way over to the left. So here we are in settings, and settings is just asking some basic information about your company. So you need to put in, for example, your company name up here at the top. It's also going to ask for custom attributes. This is just an additional question that you can ask your employees if you want. So you could ask them something like their employee ID or their parking permit number or even what department they work for if you wanted that additional information. If you don't check the box and you can leave it blank. So then you'll just fill out some basic information, and you can even add your company logo by clicking this browse button and then uploading your logo image. Before moving on to the next page, I want to bring attention to this little tiny button up here called Widgets. Clicking on this gives you HTML code that you can then use in your own intranet sites or your Green Team page, and the HTML code will allow you to put this little chart up on your website. So you can see here this says program achievements, and it's basically tracking the number of miles, the number of gas saved, money saved, carbon dioxide saved, of all those people that are in your network that are participating in the program. So this would be really good if you're running a program just for your company and you wanted to track the number of miles that those folks have logged during this particular program. And this is real-time data, so it's continuously updating itself and can kind of be a fun tool to track to see how you're doing. So we're back at our settings page now, and this is at the bottom of the settings page. It's going to ask to enter your primary contact details. This is probably going to be your transportation coordinator information. And then it's going to ask for you to enter your association details. And this is something that is actually incredibly important as an administrator. This is how people are able to link themselves to your particular work site network. So how people would link themselves to the Westside Transportation Alliance or to whatever company you work for. So there's 3 different ways, and I'm going to go through each of them. One of them is a lot easier than the other, so I'm going to encourage you to use that, and that one is by using the private email address within the network. So in order to do that, you just have to click private email address within the network, and it's going to ask you to enter your different domain names. So you can have more than one domain name. We're using SolarWorld as an example here. So SolarWorld is at solarworldusa.com, and it's also at solarworld-usa.com. So you can enter multiple domain names, but you can't enter a public domain name. So you wouldn't be able to enter at Gmail or at Hotmail. It wouldn't accept it, and it would give you an error. So when you click this button and you fill out this information, now anyone who registers with Drive Less Connect with an email address of at solarworldusa.com or whatever your domain name is, they are automatically going to be placed into your network. No one has to do any other work. They're just automatically placed into your network. This is by far the easiest way to get someone logged into your network. And so we highly encourage, when you are telling people to sign up with Drive Less Connect, we highly encourage you tell them to do that with their company domain name. There are a couple other ways that they can get associated with your network, and I'm going to walk you through those now. One of them is to give them a passcode. This passcode can be something as easy as 1234 or just your company name, and you would enter your passcode here. You can also say that an administrator will approve the request, and if you do that, you just need to enter your authorizer name and their email, and this person is going to receive an email from Driveless Connect when a person wants to be connected with the network, and they'll have to approve that. So those are the three ways that on the administrator side you can allow someone to be part of your network. But as I mentioned, the private email address is by far the easiest because all the work is done for you. The other two actually require quite a bit of work on the user's end, and I'm going to walk you through what that looks like now. So we're going to switch out of the administration website, and now we're on the user page. So this is just drivelessconnect.com, and I'm signed on as a regular user. And I'm going to walk you through how to get associated with a network, either using a passcode or having an administrator authorize my request. And you'll see that it takes a lot more steps, and because it takes a lot more steps on the user's end, it's going to mean it takes a lot more steps on your end to explain it. So the first thing a user is going to do is they're going to go onto their home page and click Profile and then My Networks, and it's going to allow them to click a button that says Join Networks. So I'm going to click Join Network, and it's going to bring me to this website that lists all the different networks in the system. I can either scroll down to find the network that I should be a part of, or I can type it in. For example, here I typed in SolarWorld. It's going to find that network for me, and I need to hit Select next to it. This will bring them to the SolarWorld page, and they're going to have to enter in some basic information. So they'll either have to say that they have an email address that's been issued by the network, so that would be your private domain name, or if they're using a Hotmail account, they'll have to say, I don't have an email issued by the network, and they would say something like wta@hotmail.com. And then the administrator would receive an email from that account that they would then have to click on and say that they approve for that person to be part of the network. Or if they've been given a passcode, they can enter their passcode down at the bottom of the page here, and they would be entered into the network that way. So those are the three different ways to be entered into the network system, and as you can tell, it's much easier to have someone just use their domain password, their domain name, rather than having to explain how to use the password or how to have an administrator acknowledge that they should be part of the network. So next we're going to look at the reports function, and you can do this by clicking the reports tab on your menu page. This is going to bring you to the reports homepage, and you can see all different reports that you can run. And this is actually a really fun page you can play around in. For example, you can run a user registration report, and this allows you to see all the people that have signed up with Driveless Connect in your network. So if an employee contacted you and said, I'm not sure if my registration went through or not, you could go to the user registration report and be able to tell them that yes, it went through, or no, let's try again. So I'm going to show you the general alternative transportation report. You'll notice at the top of the report page you can put a start and an end date. So let's say you had a program that ran from March 1st through March 31st. You would be able to put those dates in and get the information just for that time period. And here's some of the information that you're going to get. You're going to be able to see the number of new users that signed on with Driveless Connect during that time, the number of SOV miles logged, and then you're going to be able to see those trips broken out by modes. So by bike, bus, carpool, and compressed work week. So it's a pretty interesting tool, pretty interesting way to see what your employees are doing on Driveless Connect and the different modes that they're using. Now we're going to take a look at the networks function, and you can get there by clicking on networks at the top of your menu page. That's going to bring you to a site that looks like this, and at the bottom you're going to see that you have a work site that's associated with your company. So for example, I have a WTA employees work site. You can have multiple work sites associated with one network. I know that gets a little bit confusing, but basically all you're going to need to worry about is that you have a network and a work site associated with that. And you can manage that work site by clicking on the name of the work site. That's going to bring you to a page that looks like this, and you can enter some basic information like your worksite name, a description of it, and then again you can upload a logo if you want to, and then enter your primary contact details, which again is probably going to be your transportation coordinator. Now we're going to take a look at the users page, and this is another way that you can add someone to your network. So we're going to click on users, and it's going to bring you to a page that looks just like this. So here's if you wanted to manage a person's account, you could enter their email address and find them, or their name and find them, their screen name. This is a way for you to find that individual person's account in case they have any questions and you need to go in there and manage it for them. This is also where you can import accounts or import different people's usernames into your network. And you do that by hitting import accounts at the bottom of the page. When you do that, you're going to be brought to a page that looks like this, and you're going to want to hit click here to download CSV template. Basically, it's an Excel spreadsheet, and it's going to show you the format that it wants the information in. So it's going to give you this exact thing right here with these names and email addresses. Basically, you just need to delete all these names and email addresses, but keep the format. And then you're going to add the names, email addresses, phone number, etc. of the people that you want uploaded into the system. So let's say you don't have a company domain name. So you don't have a WTA.org kind of name, and everybody uses Hotmail or Gmail. This is your opportunity to download everybody at one time into the system so that they're associated with your network. So you would need to get their first name, last name, the email that they're using to register, and their phone number. Once you've saved this database, you can upload it to the system, and all of those people are going to receive an email from DriveLess Connect to continue their registration process. So this is a way for you to upload people that don't have a work domain name, and it's also a way for you to upload a whole bunch of people at once. So let's say you wanted to upload all of your employees in your company. You could do that through this process all at one fall swoop. And then that person could decide whether or not they wanted to participate in the program by continuing with their registration or not. So there's another way for you to add a user to your network, and that's through register a new user, which is also at the bottom of this user page. When you click on that, you're going to have to enter the personal information for every single person that you want to add. You'll also have to give them a password, confirm that password, a screen name, and know what kind of email address they want to use. So you would do this only if a person was having a really difficult time logging into the system on their own. You could really hold their hand through this process, or even do the process for them, and then tell them what their password is, what their screen name is, and what email address you use for them.